Hey, welcome everybody to You Can't Make This Up Thursdays. And let me tell you something, I have a really good program for you today. We're going to start off with something really cool, and then we're going to go into the crazy stuff that we see going on in this world. And they call you crazy because you believe in the Bible and you believe Jesus is coming again. Well, we're going to see some pretty crazy stuff going on out there, and we're going to connect all of the dots, but we're going to start off with this. Check this out. These IDF soldiers are praying regarding Psalm 83. Listen, we can't show you the whole video because of copyright things, but look at that. Proclaiming Psalm 83 over the IDF troops. For those of you who aren't familiar with Psalm 83, this is what Psalm 83 says, beginning in verse 1. Do not keep silent, O God. Do not hold your peace. Do not be still, O God, for behold, your enemies make a tumult, and those who hate you have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel together against your people and consulted against your sheltered ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be remembered no more. In other words, let's kill all the Jews and let's get rid of them from this land. Let us never hear about the name of Israel again. Hadrian tried to do that in 135 AD. Israel's still dealing with that. That's another story. But listen, the Jews aren't going away. The nation of Israel isn't going away. But this is speaking of people groups around Israel consulting to say, let's eliminate the Jews. And then they have consulted together, verse 5 of Psalm 83, with one consent. They form a confederacy against you, says God. I find this something else to look at. And you see IDF soldiers proclaiming Psalm 83 over the IDF troops. Lord, you got to admit, everybody, we live in amazing days. Lord, may you bring your salvation to the people of Israel, and come quickly, Lord Jesus, as we pray for the peace of Jerusalem. All right, we're going to get going here in just a second with all of the other things. You've really got to see this today. But this Saturday and Sunday, I'll be at Billy Crone's church outside of Las Vegas. Join us if you can. I'll be myself. Ken Michael from Jan Markell's ministry will be there, along with Dr. Billy Crone. It's going to be an absolutely terrific time. If you haven't registered, or if it's already full there, you can watch online too. But go ahead and check it out. That's coming this Saturday and Sunday, November 11 and 12, out in Las Vegas area. Hope to meet you guys there. Going to be a great time. All right. Are you ready to roll? Check this out. This is not one of the, we got to start here. I'm going to show you a video. There's so many things I have to show you today. I'm going to show you a video. It's this guy, and he's saying what any sane person is thinking. He's from the South, kind of does it in a comic way. I'm sure some people are getting very upset with him. It will be with me in just a minute. But we're going to roll this. You're going to enjoy it. If you believe that the Bible is true and what's going on is total insanity against the Jews, check it out. It's a message to protesters by this gentleman. Let's roll this video.
I'm going to just say something real quick. Just real quick, okay? I don't know anything that's going on in the world, and I see these big major cities have a whole bunch of people with colorful flags that are not American flags marching around in the street chanting stuff like okay? Don't come to the South with that mess, okay? You might be in Chicago and New York City. Don't come to the South with that mess. We will shoot you with the marshmallow gun type stuff, right? Like non-violent airsoft guns and stuff, like not real guns, but don't come down here with your no, don't do that. You just keep that away, because it scares us white folk. You hear what I'm saying? We get a little bit bang. Sorry, dude.
So there you have it. Listen, that's truth. Some people can't handle the truth. And they'll say, you're crazy for saying these kind of things. You're not, you believe Jesus is coming back. Listen, I'm going to show you what's really crazy here in just a second. But remember the words of Peter where he wrote in the Bible, 2 Peter chapter 3, know this, that in the scoffers will come in the last days, walking according to their own lust, saying, where's the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. For this they willfully forget. It's a willful ignorance of the truth that's going on out there. And they're telling you that you're crazy because you believe this book. You believe Jesus is coming back. You believe the Jews have the right to the land. You get it as you look at the whole thing. And yet, they're telling you that you're crazy. Let me show you something that's crazy. Check out this. You're going to see Jewish protesters of Israel, Jewish, get this, huge, supporters of Hamas. Who's the crazy ones? Jewish supporters of Hamas. Let's roll this video.
I believe that we will win. 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 I believe that we will win.
So they call you crazy. They call you crazy. These are Jewish supporters of Hamas, all right? Here's another group that calls you crazy if you believe Jesus is coming back and you believe the Bible is true. Really, you can't make this stuff up. Amazing. You ready? Check this out. Here it is. Queers for Palestine, identity politics at its most absurd. Check out this sign. You can see it there. You can't pink wash colonialism. Queers for Palestine. On the morning of October 7, the militant Palestinian group Hamas orchestrated a multi-pronged assault against Israel from the Gaza Strip, and then we know how the story went from there. And now what do we have? You have all these nuts from America out of the LGBTQ community are saying, hey, we support Hamas. We support the slaughter of these babies. Listen, you want to know why? Because they've been given over to a reprobate mind, Romans chapter 1. Because they call right wrong and wrong right. You talk about being absolutely clueless. These are the first people that would be dead if Hamas got control. If Hamas came into the neighborhoods in San Francisco and these other places here in America, guess where they're going to go? They will eliminate you before they're going to go after the Jew or the Christian, because they are appalled by you, and you think, I'm going to bless them. They're just so wonderful. Let's just go and do this. Let's just support Hamas. Let's just go do this. Listen, this is unbelievable. Unbelievable and stupidity in people's minds. But God has given them over to a reprobate mind, and because of that, what do you expect, right? Okay, let's not stop there. We got some more. You can't make this up. I'm going to show you a Catholic priest. This Catholic priest is going to claim, get this, that Jesus was a Palestinian. I don't think we have to show this whole video, but you'll see enough of it to be able to get the idea of the absurdity that the Catholic Church and even in the Protestant Church, this is going on. Let's roll this next video.
Appalled that our governor would spend millions and millions and millions of our tax dollars to go and try to save 50, 60 people from Israel, and at the same time not allow any Palestinian Americans to find refuge here. As a Christian, I follow Jesus, who is a Palestinian, who in my scriptures at the age of 2 had to flee because of the killing of innocent children. He fled to Egypt. He was a Palestinian refugee. For my Christian colleagues and anyone who professes to follow Jesus, please do not talk to me about making room for Jesus in your heart if you cannot make room at this time, in this space, for the Palestinian who needs our help and our safety. It is incumbent upon us all to be present with those who are marginalized and oppressed, and in this moment, in this time, we need to be present with our siblings who are experiencing this oppression, to make sure that the ones that are here and our neighbors are safe, and the ones who need safety, that we advocate for them and make space.
What a liar. I mean, what a liar. This guy claims to represent Jesus Christ. You know why he thinks like he does? Because he was never taught this. He doesn't know what the Bible actually teaches. He's been taught the Catholic theology that speaks against this. By the way, Catholicism puts the word of the Pope over the Bible. In fact, I just watched a spokesperson for the Catholic Church just the other day saying how the Catholic Church came first, and anybody who believes this is absolutely wrong. So we have this Catholic priest on there who says, number one, Jesus was a Palestinian. What a liar. Check this out. The word Palestine didn't even exist at the time of Jesus. It was a word that was invented by Hadrian, the Roman ruler, 135 AD, when he went to slaughter all of the Jews back then. He tried to, it didn't work. What did he do? He had the name of the area of Judea and Samaria, the whole area of Israel, he had to change to Palestine. Actually, Syria Palestina in Latin. It came from, he was looking to see, okay, who was the worst enemy that the Jews ever had? It was the Philistines. So he had his people say, put this into the modern language of Latin, and what did they come up with? Syria Palestina. So he named the area Palestine. It's a line name straight out of the pit of hell that came from the Roman Caesar to destroy the Jews. And this Catholic priest goes on and he says, oh, these Palestinians, Jesus was a Palestinian? The word didn't exist at the time of Christ. Didn't even exist until 135 AD in Latin. What a liar. And then he tries to say Jesus was taken because of the oppressors and the slaughters from those terrible Jews. No, it was Herod who went after the Jews to slaughter them. You stinking lousy priest. That's what that was. Herod went to slaughter the Jewish boys 2 years old and younger, just like Hamas did right now over in Israel. And this priest has the audacity and the lying lips to turn the story to say how bad those Jews are to protect themselves. And the Jews won't let the civilians out. You need to make room for the civilian Palestinians. The Jews have been trying to do that over in Israel. Tried to let them out. Egypt doesn't want them. Why don't you talk to the people in Egypt? They don't want them. Since you're so fond, Mr. Priest, of saying, how about, I mean, you're trying to say Jesus with his mom and dad, they fled down into Egypt. And we're saying, well, how about Egypt what if they opened up their doors to the Palestinians to be able to go through there and find safety in Egypt? No, that wasn't going to happen. Why? Because your story's all messed up. Because you're a liar and you don't know the facts, you don't know the history, you don't know the Bible, and you twist everything to lay guilt on people who are willing to stand with Israel. And then Hamas puts the children in the own Palestinian children in harm's way. Build rocket centers under hospitals and schools and houses. Shoots Palestinians as they're trying to get out of the way. Kills them if they're protesting against what Hamas is doing. And you blame Israel. You blame the Jews, and you say how awful anybody is that stands with Israel. That's disgusting. But that's the kind of theology that's going to come forth from the lips of someone who doesn't believe that the Bible is true. I don't care if you're Catholic or Protestant. That's the reality of it. You can't stand up and look at the truth. But there's good news. There is some good news in all this, because check this out. Got a good video to show you. That last one really made me mad, in case you couldn't tell. Got a good one to show you now, right? Check this out. Azerbaijan, not sure exactly how to say it, is the first Muslim country where a vehicle convoy rallied in support of Israel. How about this, Catholic priest? Check out this video, because they get it. Check this out. Hey, somebody that gets it in a Muslim country, so there's some facts out there. We don't get that here in the Western media, not here in the United States of America, not over in Europe. We won't get that, but here, but they got it. They get it over there because they understand who their oppressors are. Check this out in Isaiah chapter 19. Did you know that in the last days, Egypt, the people of Egypt, turned to the Lord of Israel because of their oppressors? That happens in the last days. They're going to be saved. It's an amazing thing. Isaiah chapter 19. You can read it. Because of their oppressors. What do we have? These oppressors all over the place. And there's people in the Muslim world that are supporting Israel because they get it. We have people in Iran that are turning to the Lord of heaven because they get it. They understand salvation is in Jesus. And here in the Western world, you look at the media, you look at this Catholic priest I just showed you a few minutes ago, and you think, this is unbelievable. Speaking of Catholicism, check this out. Many of you sent this to me. I've seen it all over. Vatican steps closer to allowing transgender Catholics to be baptized. Guess what? There you go. Let's baptize. I mean, we live in the time. We've been given over to a reprobate mind. And this isn't just the Catholic Church. You look at the Andy Stanleys, you start going through the Protestant Church in America. Well, no wonder where we are with the nation of Israel while anti-Semitism is growing all over the world, exploding all over the world, because the Western world predominantly has been given over to a reprobate mind, completely lost all sense of any truth, will not endure truth any longer, as 2 Timothy chapter 4 says. In other words, they won't put up with the truth. They give in to, 1 Timothy chapter 4, doctrines of demons, lies and hypocrisy. That's where we are. But is there any good news? Absolutely good news. Jesus saves. And going back to what we saw at the very beginning, by the way, that video was sent to me with the IDF soldiers praying regarding Psalm 83 from Pete Garcia. Thanks, Pete. Really appreciate that. Pete's going to be with us in Australia. But listen, you guys can see the absurdity of everything that's happening, right? You guys get it. And again, a reminder from 2 Peter chapter 3, scoffers will come in the last days saying, where's the promise of his coming? For this they willfully forget. It's a choice to reject the truth. That's what's happening. And then it goes on to say, talk about the end that is coming. There will be a new heavens and the new earth. And then Peter writes, listen, what manner of persons ought you to be in holy conduct and godliness, since you know all these things are going to happen? In other words, get ready because Jesus is coming back. And then Peter says this, looking for and hastening the coming of the day of the Lord. Listen, this is what we do. We recognize, hey, let's proclaim the absurdity and bring in the truth into the debate, into the conversation, and say, wake up, everybody, wake up. Listen, Jesus is coming. It's not a coincidence that all these things are happening at the exact same time. Just as the Bible said, as we look at everything develop, listen, everything is moving forward. Everything is right on time with God's plan. He has a prophetic calendar. He tells us he does. And he says, I'm going to bring about my events exactly like I described. And then Jesus is coming back. All of these things are a warning sign. And anybody with a brain can tell this stuff that's out there that's wacky. Yeah, it is. Doctrines of demons. People need to wake up. Jesus is coming. And he came the first time that we would be forgiven of our sins. And man, all I can tell you is you look at everything. If you don't know Jesus, you better ask him to forgive you, because it is so obvious what is going on if you know the Bible. Not if you're like the Catholic priest, but if you actually know the Bible, it's so obvious what is going on. Hey, join me this weekend, both November 11 and 12, Saturday and Sunday. I'll be at Billy Crone's church in Las Vegas. And join us there. Would love to meet you. Ken Michael from Jan Markell's ministry is also going to be there. All three of us. It's going to be a great conference. God bless you guys. Hope to see you there.